Very good morning to all my dear friends, my dear students, and the viewers. I am Professor Ashwati Fuljale, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Tulsi Ramji Gaikwad Patel College of Engineering and Technology. Welcomes you all for the online lecture of machining process, a subject of 4th semester mechanical engineering. My dear friends, today we are going to discuss about one important topic, which is the fifth unit of 4th semester mechanical engineering machining process subject. It is the grinding machine. My dear friends, grinding machine, in our previous video lecture we have introduced few of the basic grinding machines. We have introduced about the abrasives, the types of bonds in the previous video lecture. Today I have brought some additional important points regarding the grinding process. The grinding process, as we all are aware about, it is the abrasive machining process, and it is considered as the very old and ancient machining process to manufacture any of the product. My dear friends, during ancient era, the abrasives like sand particles were used to sharp the stones, isn't it? To sharp the stones in the stone era, the abrasive particles were used. Even though in 20th century also, for sharpening the cutting tools, we are using abrasive particles. Isn't it amazing? See, abrasives plays such a vital role in order to remove the material from the surface of the workpiece. Right. Now, what about the abrasive particles? The abrasive particles are small sand-like particles. Even though if you could observe a single particle of sand, you will find their edges are sharp if you could see it closely, right? So why can't we utilize those particles if used in abundance, in substantial quantity? Those can be used for removing the material. Even though in today's era also, for sharpening the tool like swords and axes, we use grinders, right? Now, what is the abrasive machining? It is the oldest machining process. Abrasive shaping at the beginning of the stone era. Free sand was applied between the two moving parts to remove the material and shape the stone parts. And as the technology advances, some revolution has taken place, and as a result, today we can use those particles, we can use those abrasive particles for removing the material from the surface of the workpiece, right? So grinding is the removing of metal by rotating abrasive wheel, isn't it? In our previous video also we have seen some um, machines which were modified to remove the material, but one additional point what we learned was the quantity of material removed. Very fractional quantity of material is removed. That is why it has been categorized into the super finishing operation, right? So thus grinding is the removing of metal by a rotating abrasive wheel. It is not restricted to the metals only. We can remove the material from the surface of non-metals. Even though wood granites can also be sharpened, even though the material can be removed from those materials also. The wheel action, which is similar to a milling cutter with very large number of cutting points, right? In our previous video also we gave an example of a filing process. Even though the emery paper or sandpaper, we had good discussion over those basic fundamentals, right? With the help of filing, with the help of emery paper or sandpaper, we are super finishing the workpiece, and while doing so, the quantity of material removed is very fractional, having dimension lesser than 0. Having a range in between 0.25 to 0.05 mm, even though up to certain machinings, certain grinding processes, it reaches to 0. 0.6 micrometers also. The grinding was first used for making tools and arms, as we discussed. It is an ancient process, right? Now, this slide is representing the basic grinding process. In this basic grinding process, you will observe, as you can see on your screen, two wheels are shown. In first figure, you can observe a grinding wheel who have been given with some feed. We are giving some feed through the grinding wheel, and it is a rotating one having large number of abrasive particles over its surface. Uh, Next to feed, you can see grinding fluid. Grinding fluid is nothing but a coolant. That coolant will play a vital role as the workpiece to be finished is coming across a rotating grinding wheel. As a result, tremendous friction will be there, and as a result, very high heat affecting zone can be seen. Practically, if you could see or if you could observe, spark are spark are also generated. In order to vilify this, we are using grinding fluid, right? Then air scrapers, as the particle to be removed are dust like particles, their size is so less. That is why in order to carry through the work surface, we are using the air scrapers here. Then the workpiece you can see at the bottom, and the table movement, the motion of the table you can see here. Small d, it is representing the thickness of workpiece to be, thickness of unwanted material to be removed, right? In the side view, in the isometric view, you can see in the adjacent figure the rotation of wheel, and to the grinding wheel you can see a shaft over there, right? The movement of shaft, of course, make it is used to make a grinding wheel more versatile, right? And even the movement of the work table. What makes the grinding different? In our first slide we saw grinding is similar to that of milling, but the difference between milling and the grinding is that grinding wheel possesses several small abrasive particles, and each one of them acts as a cutting tool, cutting edge, right? It is a multi-point cutting tool. Now, what makes the grinding process very different? The As we have seen in our previous slide also, the particles removed are in microns, very large number of cutting edges that are very small and made of abrasive grits. Here, friends, you are hearing one new word like grit, isn't it? Grit we generally call the bunch of abrasive particles, right? The cutting edges cut simultaneously. Very fine and shallow cuts are only possible for good surface finish, as we have seen in earlier slides also. The the dimension of chips, it it itself states that it is a super finishing operation. Very fractional quantity of material is used, material is removed. That is why it has been categorized into the super finishing operations. This machining process is a super finishing machining process. And apart from grinding, we are going to learn few of the other consecutive super finishing operations like lapping, honing, and super finishing, right? The abrasive grits are extremely hard, yes, as the abrasive wheels are coming in contact with the workpiece, and it is in very large rotation, right? The abrasive particles are sticked and adhered onto the surface of a grinding wheel, and that rotates at several rpm, several revolutions per minute. And while doing so, uh, jerk and tremendous stresses may come across, that in order to sustain those all, the abrasive grits must be extremely hard. Few of the abrasive particles like emery, uh, sandstone, quartz, corundum, we have discussed in our previous video. Okay, so the abrasive particles are being classified into two main streams, and those are natural abrasive particles, and second one is, but obvious, it is artificial abrasive particles. We are going to see each one of them. Okay, as the abrasive grits are extremely hard, with the help of which we can machine extremely hard material also. For example, hardened steel, glass, carbides, ceramics. My dear friends, those materials are used mainly to manufacture the cutting tools, and we all are aware that cutting tools are the hardest type of materials, isn't it? So it is very obvious that grinder must sustain that much pressure, tremendous force exerted by those hard particles. Now towards the next slide, wherein you can see the figure, three distinguished figure representing the mounting of abrasive particles, right? But before that, we must understand on what basis we are going to stick or adhere, we are going to bond them onto the grinding wheel. The abrasive particles are distributed in few numbers. Those numbers, as you can see, from 4 to 240, it is used for grinding, and the number from 240 to 600 is used for honing and lapping. What these numbers represents, we are going to discuss in next slide, but let me give you a hint about it. These are nothing but the mesh sizes. The mesh sizes per square inch. For example, if the mesh is having 200 holes in 1 square inch, if the abrasive particles are passing through it, we can categorize them for the grinding. And if the mesh sizes, if the meshings are approximately 500 in 1 square inch, then we can use those particles for the honing, lapping, and other super finishing operations. My dear friends, we are going to discuss more on those topics, particularly, specifically. Now, coming towards the grinding wheel, the abrasive bonded together in a disc. Abrasive particles are bonded onto a disc, right? Three main factors influences the performance of the grinding wheel are abrasive material, bonding material, and the structure. Here on your screen you can see the structure of bonding of the abrasive particle. First figure is representing the mounted densely bonded abrasive particle. The second figure is representing the moderately mounted, moderately bonded abrasive particle, and last one is representing the freely mounted, freely bounded abrasive particles. As you can see on your screen, we have bifurcated the abrasive particles for particular use in the grinding and particular use in the lapping and honing, isn't it? As we all are aware that abrasive particles are classified into two categories, like natural and manufactured. Manufactured is nothing but the artificial one. Few of the natural abrasive particles are mentioned here, like sand, sandstone, or generally we call quartz. It is mounted onto the wheel, used for hand grinding, which is very cheap material and easily available. SiO2, that is silicon oxide, plus impurity, it is not uniform and does not wear evenly. The corundum and emery, corundum is nothing but the obtaining naturally obtained aluminum oxide, right? We have seen um, its shape in our previous video, right? The corundum and emery, it has better uniformity, and it is good for production. For mass production and heavy duty working, we can use corundum and emery. As we all are aware that emery is having the composition of aluminum oxide, along with it the iron oxide is also present there. Third one is the diamond and garnet. Diamond is the hardest material naturally obtained. Uh, it is naturally obtained, right? After that, diamond, corundum is the next hardest particle, right? And those are mainly used in the jewelry industries also. Now, artificial or manufactured abrasive particles. Few of them are mentioned here, like silicon carbide, which is also called as carborundum. It was discovered in 19th century during an attempt to get precious gems, having hardness with Mohs scale of 9.5, which produced at 2300 degrees Celsius during a long period of time. And after that procedure, the material we get is very hard and brittle one, having sharp edges. Though it is brittle, but it can sustain tremendous load and pressure. Next one is the aluminum oxide, artificially made, which is made from bauxite, slightly softer than silicon carbide, but it is sustainably tougher one. And next one is the cubic boron nitride, a very popularly used in the grinding as well as for the manufacturing of tools, having the hardness of 9.5, and it has very good high temperature properties. That it means a CBN can withstand tremendous temperature also, as friction may result into the formation of tremendous temperature that can sustain the cubic boron nitride. And of course it is made from the boron nitride having the cubic crystalline structure, that is why it is called as boron nitride. So today we will stop here, and in our next lecture we will continue with the next portion of grinding wheel. Till then, thank